today I'm going to be talking to you about the time I was called transphobic. Yeah! Right off the bat, I'd like to point out that I'm in no way, shape, or form transphobic. I've always been a major ally, and I am a huge supporter. And all of my coworkers knew this at the time this happened. So let's get into it, shall we? I used to work at a furniture store, and this happened when I actually worked at that furniture store. Now, this was back in 2018, around the time my Oma had passed away. So, albeit I was a little emotional, but I wasn't transphobic. Automatically, I wouldn't assume anybody's gender while at work. I never wanted to misgender anybody. That's not a thing I was about. So whenever anybody came up to me that didn't fit in the stereotypical gender boxes, I never assumed anything. I would always try to use they, them, just so everybody's comfortable, because I don't want anybody to be uncomfortable. That's what I like to strive for when it came to my customer service. I wanted everybody to be comfortable. That's when this customer comes in. So right away, when they get up to my counter, they're particularly angry. I didn't do anything except my typical smile. Maybe it wasn't as big as usual, but they came up to my counter pretty angry. They slammed their card down. When I say card, I mean their salesperson's card. So the salespeople would write the order on this little business card, and then they'd bring it up and give it to us at the counter. When people would come up to the counter with the business card, the protocol was to ask if they were financing this or paying this in full. Very typical. So I asked them, "Hello, are you financing or paying in full today?" They give me the dirtiest look and say, "I don't want to pay it in full today." So I said, "That's totally fine. Would you like to finance then? I'll just need photo ID to make sure you are you if you want to finance." Reluctantly, they hand me over their ID. I check to make sure the name matches. I don't care what the gender on the photo ID says versus what people are presenting as. That's none of my business. I just make sure that the name and the address are okay, correct, so forgery is not happening. We don't want forgery. After that is when I get into our financing options. So I told them all of the options that we currently had, and in a very rude voice, they asked me to repeat it. So I did, and then they're like, "No, I want you to write it down for me." So I took one of my sticky notes, I wrote down the options, so like all of our options, and then the price on the other side. I went and I stuck it on the desk. Nothing rude, just very nice. I'm like, "Here you are." They ripped that sticky note off the desk and go stomping off to my friend Dan. Little Dan plug, Phoenix Dan 666. He's on Twitch. You should follow him, follow his streams. He plays Pokemon and he named one after Winston because he loves me and Winston. After they go stomping over to my friend Dan's desk, they start complaining about me and how I'm being discriminatory of them being trans. They didn't specify what pronouns they wanted me to call them, so I'm sticking with they, just be on the safe side. And yeah, just sitting there talking to my friend Dan about how terrible I was for discriminating against them. I'd like to preface, as I mentioned before, I'm a huge supporter, and my friend Dan is gay. So that's two people who are super supportive of that community. That's two people that they've talked to so far who are in support of trans people. Dan doesn't quite understand why they're so angry and coming at Dan. So Dan calls over a salesperson. They've asked for a salesperson, and one of our coworkers comes, where they once again start explaining how I'm absolutely terrible for being transphobic. They then demand to speak to a manager. Little did they know that the girl sitting behind me, the woman sitting behind me in that little office, was in fact the manager for the day. After they realized that was our manager for the day, they demanded to speak with another manager. So our manager said, hey, someone else is going to be in on this day. You can come in then and speak with him. They were cool with that, and they left. I later find out that when they went to speak with that manager, the manager found out that it was me who was being transphobic. And he basically said, nope, sorry, not Michelle. She wouldn't do that. And, yeah. I felt pretty crappy for, somebody accusing me of being transphobic, especially because I've always tried to be super accepting. And, yeah, it didn't feel good. I guess I'm just super thankful that I've always been super outspoken about what I believe in. And I've always been super open and supportive about people's lifestyles. Shout out to my ma for raising me that way. Thank you, Mom. And yeah, so because of that, my coworkers knew that I wouldn't do anything like that. And I didn't do anything transphobic, or at least I don't think I did. If maybe I did and I did something wrong, if someone wants to point that out, I would definitely be okay with learning from that experience and correcting anything I did wrong in the future. I don't want to make anybody uncomfortable ever, and I always want to make sure I'm giving people their pronouns and the utmost comfort I can service people with. And yeah, that's the story about the time I was accused of being transphobic. I don't like it. Thank you for sticking around and watching my videos. If you'd like to, you could like, comment, and subscribe. That'd be super, super awesome. I would enjoy that greatly. I make videos every Saturday and post them on Sunday. So every Sunday there'll be a new video. Winston didn't show up in this one because he's currently laying at my feet. My apologies. I will try to have him up and moving for the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and bye! Well, I could dance with you, honey, if you think it's funny. Does your mother know that you're out? I do. And I could chat with you, baby, flirt a little maybe. Does your mother know that you're out? I still hate myself.